welcome back to another explainer, and today we're diving straight into the land of Dawn. You know, the usual stories, right? Heroes forged by ancient magic, grand destiny, all that good stuff. But today, we're looking at a hero born from something, honestly, way more crushing, and that is the overwhelming pressure of expectations. We're going to completely unpack the intense and frankly heartbreaking psychological journey of Hanabi. Behind the flower was a blade. Now, I want you to realize this wasn't just some cool, edgy metaphor for Hanabi. This was literally her entire existence. From the exact second she was born, she was trained to carry the weight and the pride of an entire sect on her shoulders. She was pushed to chase victory so relentlessly, so desperately, that she was very nearly destroyed by the exact power she was trying to control. The Scarlet Shadow. To really understand Hanabi, we have to look at where she grew up. The Scarlet Shadow is this highly secretive ninja organization in the Cadia Riverlands, and this is absolutely not a place where kids got to have normal dreams. We're talking strict, absolute discipline, silence, duty. And the kicker, the organization was deeply divided into two fiercely competing sects. So from day one, Hanabi isn't just growing up in a clan, she's growing up on an active battlefield of ideals. Just think about Hanabi as the chosen leader and pride of the Scarlet Sect. Imagine being a kid and never actually being treated like one. She was viewed entirely as a future symbol, a living weapon. Every single training session she went through was a brutal test, and making a mistake, that brought massive shame. She was basically conditioned to believe that winning wasn't just a personal goal, it was her only purpose in life. It was literally the only way to prove her sect was the best. Scarlet Sect versus Shadow Sect. To really get why she was so incredibly driven, you have to understand this massive divide. On one side, you've got Hanabi's Scarlet Sect, and they put all their chips on elite physical mastery, strict discipline, and wielding these crazy, powerful sacred armaments. On the flip side, the Shadow Sect relies entirely on hidden ninjutsu, shadow arts, basically turning the human body itself into a weapon. They're two halves of the exact same organization, but locked in this constant, bitter rivalry for absolute dominance. Higanbana. So how exactly did Hanabi plan to secure that dominance for her side? Well, enter Higanbana. Calling this thing a weapon almost feels wrong. It's a sacred crimson armament that acts as a literal boundary between life and death. And here's the crazy part. When Hanabi was still super young, she awakened it. Her clan obviously threw a massive celebration, calling it a glorious triumph. But for Hanabi, it was the start of a total nightmare. Every time she touched it, she was flooded with these terrifying visions of a dark river, fueled by the obsession, memory, and grief that were trapped inside the weapon. The truth is, that weapon chose her way, way too early. To cope with the sheer, terrifying power of Higanbana, Hanabi made a really tragic miscalculation. She just completely closed off her heart. She mistook emotional distance and repression for true strength, you know? She genuinely believed that feeling anything was a weakness, and to be worthy of carrying this sacred blade, she had to become this emotionless, unbeatable machine. But just as she gets this impenetrable emotional wall fully built, her entire world gets turned upside down by the arrival of Hayabusa. Now, he came from the rival Shadow Sect, but what made him so incredibly frustrating to Hanabi wasn't even his fighting skill. It was his whole vibe. He was calm, he was fluid, and he completely did not care about status or applause or any of those rigid expectations that completely ruled Hanabi's life. Hanabi's ideology versus Hayabusa's. The psychological contrast between these two is just profound. Hanabi rigidly believed that power equaled control, that strength was all about violently forcing your will onto the world and never, ever showing fear. Hayabusa, on the other hand, well, he had this quiet, fluid understanding of his purpose. He wasn't out there fighting to prove he was better than anyone, he just fought with this calm discipline. And every single time his calm nature beat her rigid pride, oh man, it frustrated her to her very core. Kagura and the spiritual realm. Really quick, to fully grasp this dynamic, we need to zoom out and look at the wider picture of the Scarlet Shadow, specifically their connection to Kagura. She brings this totally necessary spiritual balance to their world. Her mystical bond with the Samia umbrella is all about memory, spirit, and unseen forces. And that stands in this massive, stark contrast to Hanabi's sharp, emotionally dangerous power. It just reminds us that this world isn't solely about physical assassins. It is deeply tied to inherited pain and spiritual burdens. Okay, so all those hidden emotions we just talked about, they get pushed to the absolute breaking point with the betrayal of Hanzo. The dramatic tension here just skyrockets. Hanzo, who was actually one of their strongest fighters, goes rogue and steals the terrifying demonic blade Ame no Habakiri. So suddenly, these bitter, divided ninja clans aren't just fighting each other anymore. They have to face this monstrous, super violent new threat that came from inside their own walls. Hanabi's path to the abyss. This is where her obsession just compounds. Look at her timeline. It starts with a childhood defined by crushing pressure, which leads directly into an adolescence of total emotional repression. Add in her young adult life being marked by constant frustration at Hayabusa's hands, and you've got a recipe for disaster. All this trauma and pride barrels toward one massive crisis point. When Hanzo attacks, Hanabi decides to stubbornly go after this immensely powerful demon entirely by herself. In her mind, this is her ultimate chance to prove she doesn't need anyone. Seriously, before we talk about how that fight goes, I want you to really think about something. What happens when the desire to win makes you willing to lose yourself? Because that is the core tragedy of Hanabi's ambition. She is walking straight into a darkness she doesn't even begin to understand, completely blinded by the sheer terror of just not being good enough. Which brings us to this absolutely brutal fight. When Hanabi finally faces off with Hanzo, she realizes really quickly that her pride is not going to save her. The demonic power he's wielding is just overwhelming. So, pushed right to the absolute brink of death, she makes a terrifying choice. Just to survive the fight, she completely offers herself to the unstable power of Higanbana. She literally risks being totally consumed by the weapon. Sinking into the dark river. The consequence of that choice hits her immediately. She finds herself sinking into the dark river inside Higanbana. And this isn't just a scary vision anymore. She is literally drowning in a prison of trapped souls, pain, and resentment. But as she sinks, she has this massive, profound realization. Her true enemy in this moment isn't Hanzo at all. Her true enemy is her own obsession with victory. It's that completely false belief that winning is her only reason to exist. Just as she's about to be totally lost to that dark river forever, the emotional climax hits. Through the darkness, she hears Hayabusa's voice saying this exact phrase, "The moon is beautiful tonight." Now, throughout their entire rivalry, she honestly thought this was just some nonsense phrase he used to mock her. But down in the depths of her despair, his voice actually reaches her, and it completely shatters her belief that she has to face the world completely alone. That single moment of profound connection brings moonlight over the dark river inside her mind. The raging waters actually calm down. Hanabi finally truly understands what Hayabusa meant all those times. She realizes that human connection, affection, vulnerability, these aren't weaknesses. Actually, scratch that. They are the vital light you absolutely need to calm the terrifying internal darkness created by endless ambition. Becoming the true owner of Higanbana, this is her ultimate psychological awakening. To become the true owner of Higanbana, she didn't need to be this empty, emotionless shell. She needed to accept her full emotional spectrum. She finally accepted fear and uncertainty as normal things. She learned to actually carry her emotions instead of aggressively burying them. She recognized that there's beauty and meaning way beyond just winning. And most importantly, she understood that power without emotion isn't just incomplete, it's wildly dangerous. So here we are, the new Hanabi, the Scarlet Flower who actually survived the river. Now sure, Hanzo might have escaped that day, but as this whole journey shows us, Hanabi won a much, much more important battle. She conquered her own internal darkness. By finally understanding her own heart, she stepped out of that river not as some fragile weapon built on pressure, but as a complete, enlightened, and truly powerful warrior. I'm gonna leave you with this final provocative thought today. I want you to ask yourself, are you fighting to protect something you love, or are you just terrified that losing means you are nothing? Hanabi's journey through the Scarlet Shadow is this incredible reminder that true strength is absolutely not the absence of emotion, and it for sure isn't about winning every single battle. True strength is understanding your own heart, making real connections, and choosing to move forward anyway. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I really hope this leaves you thinking about what truly drives you.